Welcome to Portsmouth Now. I'm your host, Rob Lauer. On today's show, we're going to take a look at the visual arts in Portsmouth and displays that you can catch now and in the coming weeks, including one art display in a surprising venue. That's coming up right here and right now on Portsmouth Now. Welcome to Portsmouth Now. If you're an art lover, Portsmouth has its share of art galleries, museums, and shops for you to visit. But chances are you wouldn't think of going to the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame to catch an art show. Well, think again. For the last few years, the Sports Hall of Fame has constantly been organizing displays of sports-related art. In fact, the Hall of Fame even has a curator on staff, Diana Blanchard Gross, and she put together their current art show, Galloping to Greatness, Horses and Art, which you can catch until March 30th. Recently, we spoke with Diana to learn more about this unique display. Thanks for joining us, Diana.
Thank you.
So now you have a show coming up here at the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, an art show, an art display.
Yes, we are so excited to be hosting Galloping to Greatness, Horses and Art at the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame. It's on view until March 30th of 2014, and it's a group exhibition. We have 4 fabulous artists that are participating. We have 2 painters, Ken Wright and Lynn Blount, and then as well as we have 2 photographers, Grayson Huffman and Debbie Thomas, and they all represent and they look at and examine horses all in a different way. Some very abstractly, some more representational, and it's a great mix for people to come and see the horse in its different genre.
Okay, so now was this your idea? I'm going to be honest, I was a little surprised when I heard that there was a curator doing art at the Sports Hall of Fame.
I know. Well, I have been here for 8 years, and just last year we have decided to take our sports gallery and host art exhibitions. And of course, the art exhibitions also deal with sports. So we started that last year, and then for this year, our Horses was our first exhibition that we have on view. We're really excited to present that. We've had different topics as far as solo shows, where we've had solo artists that have participated. All these are exhibitions that I have organized, so it's all in-house. We do like to focus on Virginia artists, but artists from any area, as long as they deal with sports and art, we enjoy and welcome them to submit proposals.
Well, what's been the reaction to people that come in here? Like you look at sports exhibits and they see the art.
Well, they're really excited. I mean, it's a different aspect to the sports. They think more of the interactive exhibits that we have on view, and to have the art is just an added and a wonderful dimension to what we do and the audience that we have that comes into the Sports Hall of Fame. So we're very excited, and the visitors are excited too to see something different.
So how long is the horse display on exhibit?
The horse exhibit is on display until March 30th. For 3 months, our exhibits are up, and people can come in when we're open, normal visiting hours, and take a look and see, if they see what they like.
That's great. Now, I'm going to ask you, since we're asking all our guests today, we're discussing art in Portsmouth and Hampton Roads. The value of art generally, though, in a community. I guess you probably have some opinions on that.
Of course. I mean, art is what makes, I think, the world go round. It's what we enjoy. It's what we look at to make our day brighter. It's if we don't have that, then what are we looking for in life? I think that art, some people dismiss it as far as in the school systems, as far as not a necessity, but it so much is, and we need to encourage that.
Humans are the only species that create art.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of, we're talking like, in France, in the caves, some of the first art was horses. They were drawing horses in the cave walls. So, there's certainly appreciation. I think that we don't appreciate it enough, and we don't appreciate artists enough, and we need to really take a look at as what a valuable community they are, and to really highlight them and to encourage them and to participate in that and to buy art as well and to encourage it and to encourage our kids and the young people that this is important.
Well, I was hearing you talk about buying art. Now, are there prints for sale, like in the gift shop, of some of the things you've had here before?
Most of the art is for sale. We have a checklist of works that is available for the public if they are interested in purchasing the art. It's not, it's icing on the cake for us because really we want to have visitors look at the art, be educated by it, be entertained, and if someone is interested in purchasing that for their home, that's secondary. So, yeah. but yes.
There's sort of a false dichotomy too that's been set up culturally, and that is that if you're into sports, you can't be into art.
Oh, I think that's no.
I'm sure as an artist you probably have come across that sort of mindset.
Yes. Well, it's they had a study, a museum association did a study. We're saying that more people go to art events and museums than go to sporting events. So I think even though the two are different, I think they can combined together.
Right.
I think it's if you love sports, you can certainly enjoy art as well as art. People will certainly enjoy sports too. I think it can be inclusive of one another.
Well, that's great that you're bringing it together here. Well, what do you see as far as happening in Hampton Roads generally, or here in Portsmouth as far as the arts go? Do you think there's a growing impetus to sort of have more of an established artist community
I think
here?
there is. I mean, I know there's obviously the First Fridays events, and obviously Portsmouth has their Public Art Foundation. I think that's great. I know a lot of other cities have already started that, and that's been established. I think it can only grow in Norfolk, but you need to have people that want to take ownership of that and really start the ball rolling with that, as far as galleries and artist talks and lectures. But I think the future is bright for Portsmouth.
Well,
so I'm excited.
Thank you for doing your bit here at the Sports Hall of Fame to get the ball rolling.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back to Portsmouth Now, we'll take a look at other current art displays you can catch around town. So stay tuned.
Ever wonder what makes us, the Smurfs, so happy? The forest, of course! This is where we, along with the beautiful forest creatures, make our home with beautiful plant life, clean water, and endless adventures. It's a place to celebrate. So discover the forest with your family today. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Welcome back to Portsmouth Now and our look at the visual arts in Portsmouth. Gail Paul is the curator of the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center, which is located in the historic 1846 courthouse on the corner of Court Street and High. Throughout the entire year, the center continually hosts shows and art-related events. Recently, we spoke with Gail to learn more about what the center has in store over the next few months. Well, welcome back again, Gail.
Hi, good to see you, Rob.
Okay, so I understand the courthouse is closed down now because you're getting rid of Winter Wonderland. But you do have some things coming up soon.
Pretty soon. Right, we've closed for Winter Wonderland. It always takes us a little bit of time to get back up on our feet. So we are offering some programming in February, on February 8th, which would be like our first Friday and Saturday programs, but we'll actually have something on Saturday. One activity which will be for families, and that's a chocolate tasting. Marianne Boho, who's come several times to visit here, and she has her own she's a chocolatier from Williamsburg. And so she'll be doing a chocolate tasting with us from 2 to 5 that day while supplies last. And that will be in our art annex area.
Okay.
So that's always a tasty treat for everyone.
Great. But now what is your next big exhibit that's coming up here?
Our next big exhibits, we'll have our outdoor sculpture, and also the Tidewater Art Alliance will have a show, Eyes Wide Open, and that's a juried show that we offer every year with that organization.
Okay.
One of the things that's changed, they've opened it up to others, so it's no longer just Tidewater artists members. So it's open to the public, that everyone can apply that's interested, and it is a juried show.
All right. So how long will
April 20th.
Eyes Wide Open be on display?
That exhibit will be up through April 20th.
Okay, great. All right. Now, there's also the sculpture. Every year you have the different sculptures and works of art out in the courtyard itself, and people get to rate what their favorite and vote on what their favorite is?
Yes.
So what's happening with that this year?
Well, that show will also open on March 7th, and we'll have 10 sculptures in the courtyard by a variety of different artists. So that is a juried show. We send out information all over really the eastern seaboard and beyond, and so we get responses from everywhere.
Okay.
And we have a juror every year. It's a different juror. So if someone doesn't get in one year, their work, it depends on the vision of who the juror is and how the works fit together into an exhibition.
Okay, now a lot of people here that are involved with arts, they hear juried show, they hear juried, they think court. What do you mean by juried show for those who know nothing about the art world?
Okay, usually there's one vision, so it's like whoever is selected as the juror is going to make the selections for the work that year. And their decisions may be based on a variety of different things. Sometimes it's based on like who else is participating, and you're looking for a common thread amongst like a dialogue, whether it's like media based, whether it's all metal, the works are made out of metal, or they're fabricated in some way. Maybe they would be wood or glass. It could take on different elements. We've done a outdoor glass exhibit before, so it just takes on a variety of different topics. But since this is an open show, we get works from all over really the eastern seaboard and beyond. And it's really kind of like the luck of the draw of what you get to select from for that juror.
Great. Okay, Gail, you've been on our show a number of times, but I'm curious, what is your objective here in terms of your job, what you're doing here at the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center?
Well, I think the arts are really important to a community, and I think it helps develop a desirable community where people like to live and work and play. And the arts have always been an important part of my life, also as a visual artist myself, but now I kind of work with other artists to bring exhibitions here. I work with other members of the community to bring kind of like dynamic shows in and dynamic programming that goes along with it.
Well, what is the art scene? What is the state of the arts here in Hampton Roads generally at this point, would you say? I mean, there seems to be a lot more of it than back in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up here and working here for the first time.
Well, I moved here in the 90s. So in 95, I moved to this area from San Francisco, the Bay Area. So
big difference in the art scene, I would imagine.
It was a big difference. And so that's the period I can compare it to. And I feel like it's really been growing, and I think it still has some room to grow. I like to see things that are more cohesive and cooperative amongst the different communities, and dynamic things that are going on, like group shows that come in, like particular themes. You did a glass show, but we've done a lot of different things that kind of like to help promote other areas of the region. So,
well, how is the public participation of things that you've sponsored here? I mean, are more people coming out for things, or?
I've seen a growth in visitors to the exhibitions, and I've also seen really good responses to the exhibitions. We particularly some of the shows that I've liked that we've done. We did a paper exhibit one year, and people often have this perception of paper being like a craft material. And I think that particular exhibition really showed how artists are working today to kind of like use any material, and that they're bringing new dialogue to like perceptions of how you look at things and different materials. And I got a lot of really great responses to that. We've done lots of great shows like that too. The Beat Goes On, figuring outside and folk artists. And,
right.
So there's been a lot.
But now, if someone was interested in learning more about art, I understand that early in March, I think the same day as the chocolate activity, you're going to have someone here
It's actually February 8th.
February 8th,
yes.
okay.
Yes, same day. And Dr. John Joyce, who lives here in Portsmouth, he has been a supporter of the public arts in this area and the outdoor sculpture exhibition. He's also been incremental in a group, Supporters of Portsmouth Public Art. And so when John travels, he goes around and captures different artwork that he sees in an area. And so that's what he really wants to see happen here in Portsmouth.
Okay.
And he'll be giving a talk on February 8th at 11 a.m. So we hope people will join us for that.
And that's just open to the public for
That's
free?
open to the public, no charge.
That's great, okay. Well, so they want to come, learn more about art in general?
And the art in their community.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us, Gail.
Thank you.
In addition to the upcoming shows and events that Gail told us about, the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center and the Children's Museum of Virginia also sponsor a variety of art classes throughout the year for kids of all ages. To find out more about those classes, call the Children's Museum's Education Department at 757-393-5258. When we return, we'll meet one of the artists whose work is currently on display at the galleries of the TCC Visual Arts Center in Old Town. Stay tuned.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until the
secret that will make you smile.
reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this dangerous, but they are returned.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Get your ass suit. You're not in here. Yes, I am. Move. Give it to him hard. No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh, you got...
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Welcome back to Portsmouth Now and our look at the arts in Portsmouth. Old Town Portsmouth is the home of Tidewater Community College's Visual Arts Center, where all of TCC's art classes are taught. This includes classes in subjects as diverse as painting, sculpting, and glass blowing. Located at the corner of Court Street and High Street, the first floor of TCC's Visual Arts Center is also an expansive art gallery that's open to the public for free daily from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. The gallery's current display is called Abstractions, and it opened on Friday, January 18th. Just before the display's grand opening, we interviewed Chris Gregson, one of the three artists whose work makes up the show. I'm joined by Chris Gregson, who's one of the three artists who will be showing his work here at TCC. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
I'm glad to be here.
So are you excited about tonight?
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So tell us a little bit about your journey as an artist. What is your background? Where are you from? How did you get to this point?
Well, it's been a long journey. I started out as a theater major, and I studied theater. When I was in high school, I was very interested in drama, and I went to the University of Arizona and started in theater as a performer. And then later on, I decided that I really like stage design. So I moved to New York after I graduated from the University of Arizona, and I went to the Studio and Forum of Stage Design, where I studied stage design with a gentleman by the name of Lester Polikoff. And I was just really intrigued with setting up scenery for theatrical productions. That was really my passion, and I enjoyed the architectural elements to it and the lighting, and that you could create weather. You could create all sorts of dynamics within a stage design. But once I was working in that medium, one of the things that really fascinated me was the actual renderings because I was just fascinated that you could create a whole environment on a piece of paper that was probably 11 by 14. So I began to create my own independent artworks, independent of the narrative of a theatrical production. And that's when I got really, really interested in art. I actually came from a family who was very artistic, and I had an older brother who actually studied to be an artist through a traditional education. He went to the University of Hartford and later went out to Chicago for a while. So it was through him that I was introduced to the gallery scene in New York City, and that's where I really became fascinated with art and learning how to do things.
Okay, but now when we think of theatrical design, you're thinking costumes and lights and sets where you have real actors, things that are more realistic, but your work is very abstract. So how did you make that jump from doing renderings for stage designs, which tend to be more naturalistic, to something like this?
Well, you know, in some ways, creating an environment for figurative action is somewhat abstract in the sense that you really want to depict a mood, a time, place, a certain environment. So it seemed to me a natural leap to go into abstract art, and then I became really intrigued with studying art history, and I was just drawn to abstraction and studying the early modernists and seeing the work of Picasso and understanding the work of Jackson Pollock and the abstract expressionists and all that. So I really kind of studied all that, and it became very, very meaningful to me that you could depict feelings and spirituality and emotions without a narrative.
So what medium is it, like this work here?
My work is in oil. I started initially as an artist working in watercolors, but then once I found oil painting, I really found my medium when I started painting in oils.
Okay, so can you tell us maybe a little bit something? This is a very large piece here.
Right.
It looks bigger on camera. But can you tell me a little bit about this?
Well, this piece here is sort of, well, it's a culmination of many, many years of work. This particular piece only took me about a year to complete, but it's the result of many earlier projects. All the way back in the early 90s, I would paint series of pictures and put them around the gallery in a narrative form. So one piece would lead to the next and the next and the next. Then I went into a format where I was doing very, very geometric formats, where everything was related in a geometric pattern. So there was a geometry to it. What I did in this one is I wanted to hang it in a salon style and work on each independent piece, but present it as a whole piece. So in some ways, it doesn't have a narrative meaning to it, but the pieces do relate in some way.
Yeah. So what brought you here to TCC in Portsmouth? How did you connect with the gallery here?
Well, a few years ago, I'm a member of a group called Constructs, which is a group of abstract painters from university galleries, from different colleges across the state of Virginia and all the way up through Washington, D.C. And I made a proposal to the gallery for a potential show of this group of artists, which there are 11. And Shelley Brooks accepted the proposal, and I showed a group of work of all these different artists. And A few years after that, I made a proposal to Shelley Brooks and asked her if I could have a one-person show, and she reviewed it, and their committee reviewed it, and they accepted the proposal.
But you have 2 other artists that you brought in to show work.
Right, there's 2 other artists here. Shelley said, well, you know, we need additional artists for the other spaces, and I said, well, I've got 2 friends that I would love to include their work. And one is Sharon Fischel, and the other one is Jeff Smith. And I've known these 2 artists for many, many years, for probably about 20 years. And they're part of the community that I come from, and they're part of the dialogue that we've had in the community. So I'm very interested in their work, and they're very interested in mine. If you could see some of Sharon's work, she works in a very small format, and this is something that is reflected in this piece. And Jeff just has beautiful surfaces, and that's something I think is very important in making an abstract painting.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Now, you know, we in education recently, you know, the trend really tends to be towards math and technology and science, and the arts, a lot of people feel, are getting sort of short shrifted. Why is art important to a community? Why is art important to kids, to all of us, in your opinion, as an artist?
I think art is important because it allows the individual to explore all sorts of possibilities and meaning beyond what is in front of them. It's a different way to experience the world. It's a different way to see the possibilities. And I think that's the importance of art.
We appreciate your stopping in and taking time to talk to us. Best of luck with the opening tonight. Beautiful work here, and thank you so much, Chris.
All right, thank you.
Abstractions is currently on display until March 6th at the TCC Visual Arts Center, every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. There are also dozens of other special events taking place all over Portsmouth. To find out about any of them, simply log on to www.portsvaevents.com. Then come to Portsmouth, where if you give us a day, we'll give you a vacation. I'm Rob Lauer. Join me next time for another episode of Portsmouth Now.